I cry a lot. That is a well-known fact for everyone who knows me in real life. And I'm not shy about it. I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry when I'm tired, I cry when I'm angry. And even though this is the emote that I hid very often in my daily life, the books that make me so emotional that I cry have a special place in my heart. So, in this video, I will be reading only sad books for a week. I'm excited, also terrified.
Why am I already crying? I'm only 70 pages in.
Oh, okay. I read for escapism, and this was anything but escapism. I fear I'm never reading fiction books like this ever again. I can't be 100% sure whether these books are gonna make me cry, but if what I've seen online is true, I'm gonna be bawling my eyes out. This is the TBR for the week. If I do have enough time, maybe I'm gonna fit in the third book, but for now, this is only these two. The first book that I am extremely excited about, and I literally cannot wait to start it, Firefly Lane by Kristin. I've heard about all Kristin books in general, but this one sparks my interest the most because it dives into female friendship and friendships in general, how important they are in our lives, and just how easy we can lose them. In this book, we follow Kate and Tully, who are best friends ever since childhood, until something happens, some betrayal happens, and they unfortunately have to part their ways. On the back it says that Firefly Lane is a book for every woman who knows that her best friend is the only person who really truly understands her, and it is a book no one will ever forget. And even though I don't have a best friend, I've never had a best friend, I'm still extremely excited to dive into this book and feel all the emotions that it can give me. And the second book is a very teeny tiny short book. It is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I feel like everyone knows about this book and this series because I believe there are a lot of books currently out. We are set in a Tokyo cafe where people can time travel and they can stay either in the past or the future until their coffee gets cold. In this book, we have 4 short stories: the lovers, husband and wife, the sisters, and mother and child. So 4 separate stories about 4 separate people that are in this cafe and they time travel. I never thought I would be reading this book until I saw one review of a person bawling their eyes out because of how relatable or sad this book is and how it touches on so many important topics for us as human beings. So now I am extremely excited about it, and I literally went to purchase it right after liking that video. So this is the lineup for this week. Maybe I'm gonna read one more book, we'll see, but for now, these are these 2. I'm gonna go start the first book, which probably will be Firefly Lane, and you grab yourself a drink, get cozy, and let's finally begin reading.
I did not expect to cry. Why am I already crying? I'm only 70 pages in.
I wanted to give my initial thoughts on Firefly Lane by Kristin. I am currently on chapter 7, page 77. I did not expect to already cry at this. This is exactly what I meant at the book just hitting the right spot and that making you cry, and not just the whole book being sad. Because even now thinking about that scene, I want to cry because that's relatable in sorts, and that definitely hurts a lot. I don't read literary fiction, general fiction books that often, so I don't really know how to explain this book to you because not much is happening. We're basically just following lives of these 2 girls, Kate and Tully, prior to them becoming best friends and now as they are best friends and getting even closer. I feel like in these books where you just follow life, it's just day-to-day occurrences and events. Even little things might be considered spoilers, so I don't really know what to say yet. Can't say I'm that connected to the characters yet. For some reason they feel very flat right now, but hopefully I'll grow to loving them the more I read. Honestly, I'm flying through this book. I haven't been reading that much and I'm like 77 pages in. Hopefully today I will reach 100 point, maybe even more, because it's written really easily yet beautifully, so I'm not struggling with the language. And I'm enjoying the story. I'm excited to see where it goes to get to this betrayal that crushes everything. So I'll get back to you later once I make some more progress with this book and once I have some updates for you, or maybe once I cry. address the elephant in the room. We're just gonna ignore that massive schlong behind me. I want my hair to look good tomorrow, so. Anyways, we're here to talk about Firefly Lane because I actually made quite a bit of progress since I last talked to you. I'm now on page 162 and I stopped mid-chapter. Rude. I honestly don't have that much of an update because I don't know how to give updates on character-driven stories, except for like talking about my thoughts and feelings. I'm still in the 80s. I think I want to get to like the next part 3, the 90s. Okay, it's more than 60 pages. Maybe I'm not gonna read that tonight because it's like 11 p.m. so I don't have that much time. There might be a massive attack this night, which means I'm gonna be without electricity tomorrow again. I wanted to talk about how interesting it is reading about these different eras that this book is set in, because obviously it all started when these girls were 14 and it was 70s. And now I'm reading in the 80s and I'm soon to get to like 90s and it's also gonna be set in 2000s. It's fun seeing all these like, you know, aesthetics of these eras, of these decades, because I personally know them only from like movies, because obviously I wasn't alive back then, but my parents were and my grandparents were, and since we're all from Ukraine, that period was kind of different for us, for Ukrainians I mean, because 70s, 80s, we were fighting communism, communists, and basically trying to survive, especially like artists, authors who were killed for just being Ukrainian authors. 80s was mostly stagnation because communism, USSR, that's how life was there. 90s, it was obviously fighting for independence and building that independence and all the struggles that came with that. Eastern Europe is very much different from the US. It's just weird realizing that like people actually lived like that. Like it is described in this book, like I'm used to seeing in movies, in series, reading about in books. People actually used to live with that like aesthetic, with that vibe. It's interesting reading. That's why I like reading books, because you get so many perspectives that you never could have gotten in your life, because obviously I couldn't have been alive in the 70s and now in 2026 being 18 years old. So it's really interesting seeing that, and I think I'm growing to love these characters more. I wasn't as connected to them before, but I think I'm getting connected more to them right now. We'll see how it further goes, because I'm scared to get to this like major problem that is about to happen. I mean, not about, but like somewhere in the book. Obviously I know that it's gonna happen. I've seen so many people cry at like the very ending of the book, so excited but also scared to get to that, but maybe more excited because I want to see where this story goes. I want to see the lives of these two girls, these two women. So I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna go and read a little bit more tonight before going to bed, and I'll talk to you tomorrow once I have more updates. Hey guys, I know it is the exact same spot as you were in yesterday, but whatever, let's ignore that. It is the next day and I now have only, hold on. I've been reading with my reading light because we don't have electricity. Yep, and we are not gonna have it for another 7 hours probably. That sucks, but thankfully I have my reading light. Anyways, I now only have 100 pages left. Exactly, I'm on chapter 30 and I think I've got to like when the bad stuff is gonna happen, because judging by the back of the book, there will be act of betrayal and then a tragedy that will probably make them come back to each other. I am yet to get to that, but I think it has to happen in the last 100 pages. I think I've grown to loving these characters more. The story definitely has slowed down and I'm not as invested in it as I was maybe like up here. Maybe because they're older and I don't quite get all the struggles in their lives. However, I also appreciate looking at motherhood from the mother's side because I have a very close relationship to my mom. She's literally my best friend, so I never quite had struggles as she and her daughter have in this book. Of course, we had our conflicts, but not to that extent. So I think I really appreciate looking at that and understanding what a difficult job it is to be a mother. I've teared up quite a bit times at different quotes about that. We'll see how it ends. We'll see how heartbreaking it will be. I'm excited, also terrified, but mainly I think excited. I've got exactly 50 pages left, and if what I think is about to happen will happen, I fear I'm never reading fiction books like this ever again. So, it's been exactly 1 day since I finished Firefly by Kristin, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about it. This is absolutely not the type of books I like to read. I read for escapism, and this was anything but escapism. When I cry at books, I often do that because I am way too attached to the characters. I feel connected to them, and it physically hurts me to understand that these events are happening to them. However, with Firefly Lane, it broke my heart not because I felt sorry for the characters, but because it was kind of relatable at sorts. And that was absolutely not what I wanted to feel. Let's just say that if I knew that this element was in this book, I would have never ever picked it up. I'm not quite settled on the review. So far, I'm thinking like 3 or 3.5 stars. You'll see it somewhere on the screen. When I'm editing, I will put that on because hopefully by that time I will already know what my thoughts and my final review of this is. But it's definitely not one of the books that I liked. I didn't hate it. However, I did hate how it made me feel. And I fear, because of this, I never want to read literary fiction ever again. Did it make me cry? Yes, but it was absolutely not appreciated, and it's not the type of tears I like to cry while reading. I hope I explained myself clearly because I hope it makes sense what I was trying to say. So, first book of the video is done. It's now time to go to Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I'm not sure I will be starting this book today. Not really in the mood for it right now, but I think I'm gonna start it tomorrow, probably. I actually ended up starting Before the Coffee Gets Cold yesterday, and I read the first story, so I'm now on story 2, Husband and Wife, and I'm on page 57. I don't know what to say about this book. The first little story didn't grab me at all, didn't make me feel anything. I just read it in one sitting, I was like, oh, okay. I feel like we just got to know this cafe and how everything works in it, how you can travel to past, what might happen while you're there, etc, etc. So I'm not sure whether I'm gonna feel anything with this book at all, but the first story definitely didn't make me feel anything. It was beautifully written, or at least translated, because obviously it's translated from Japanese. But other than that, I really don't have anything much to say yet. I'm gonna continue reading, maybe not right now, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but since it's so short, maybe I can finish it tonight. I thought other books in this series were about something else, maybe like other cafe, other time traveling stuff, but each and single book from this series take place in this one cafe, and each book just has 4 different stories about like 4 different people. and maybe other books are better than this one, but I'm judging the book only by the first story. I think I have to go and actually continue reading other ones. I thought we were gonna read Before the Coffee Gets Cold together for a little bit more, but I actually ended up finishing this morning, so I'm here to give you my final thoughts. The last two stories were definitely more impactful personally for me. I felt them in my heart, even if I didn't cry. They still hurt and they still showed us how much we should appreciate what we have right now, instead of hoping for something to change. I think my favorite story from here is The Sisters, even if it hurt the most, personally. I think I want to give this book like a 3 stars, because while I would recommend it to some people who are looking for some short stories that might be impactful, this is still not kind of read that I would read like all day, every day. It's definitely okay for the change of my reading, but overall, nothing too memorable, and I doubt I will be going back to this book. I don't think I want to continue this series. Maybe later in my life I will come back to it, but right now I feel like I just don't find it as interesting as some other books on my TBR. So this actually brings us to the end of this video of reading sad books for a week, which was half a week. It took me like 5 days to read these 2 books. So the lineup for this video consisted of these 2 books. I would say it was a successful video because I've cried, which was pretty much the aim of it. However, I did not find any 5-star, 6-star reads. Both of these were 3 stars, so not successful in that kind. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. Maybe I can pick up some other genres, because I mostly cry at fantasy, obviously, when my favorite characters get killed. Let me know what you think of these books. Hopefully my thoughts didn't really offend you. And with that, I will let you go. Thank you so much for being here with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and if you'd like to see more from me. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.